everybody, welcome to another edition of Flower Friday. Today we're going to be making these ribbon roses, and they're really easy to make, but they do take a little bit of practice. This is probably a more advanced flower technique. For those of you that are beginners, this would be a great project to kind of test out where you're at with flower making, because it does take a little more concentration to make these flowers. Okay, so what you're going to need is some ribbon. I am going to use some satin ribbon, and I think I'm going to use this gold color here. Let me get me off a piece. You're going to need 24 inches, approximately. I mean, if you don't have to measure it, just something approximate to 24 inches. Okay, I'm going to use this gold color ribbon here, and it's just a satin ribbon. Okay, I'm going to move those off to the side. The first thing that you need to do is you need to create your flower center, okay? I will be using hot glue in this video. I think for me, I have to use hot glue with this particular flower. Some of the other flowers that I made, you can use any kind of glue you want. But with this one, definitely I think hot glue is the best way to go. You need something that's going to bond quickly and dry fast so that you can still manipulate the flower. Okay, so first thing that you're going to need to do is create your flower center. So all you're going to do is turn this particular part of the ribbon down, okay, and all you're doing is making a point, okay, you see that? So all I did was make a point. I just turned it down 90 degrees, okay, and this is going to become your tail here, and you're going to need this to kind of hold on to your flower and keep it stable, okay? So that's why you definitely need to use enough ribbon. All right, so now all I'm going to do is just fold this, and I want to fold it really tight. It's very important that the center of your flower is tight. Okay, and then just to keep that there, I'm going to put just a little hot dollop of hot glue. I've seen some tutorials for these where the ladies don't use hot glue. And I have tried and tried and tried, and I just cannot get it right without using hot glue. So I think the easiest way here is to use the hot glue. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take and we're going to fold our ribbon down. Okay, so we're going to fold it down and turn. Okay, now another tip here is to make sure that when you're folding your ribbon down and as you're rolling, before you get to the end of your fold, okay, you fold it down again, okay, and that's going to make sure that your flower ends up in a round rose shape. Because if you wait until the very end of your fold, let me get this straightened out there. If you wait until the very end of your fold, you're going to kind of get a little point here, and you don't really want a point, okay? You just want it to be round like a rose. Okay, so now I've got my little bud center here. Now I'm going to put another dollop of hot glue. And you'll notice that I use hot glue about every 2 or 3 rounds with these flowers. Okay, so now you've got your bud, and you're coming to the end of your fold. You want to fold down again. And all you're doing is just folding it down. Okay, and then roll it around, fold it down, roll, fold, roll, fold. Okay, and you can see your rose is coming together here. Now, if you want to stop here, you can, because this would make a really cute addition to a lot of altered projects. I mean, how many times do we use those small I Am roses or Recollection roses? You know, these are pretty much the same size, and you know, they're not made out of paper, so they're going to last a little bit longer on your creations. They won't get crushed because they're a ribbon. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going because I want my flower to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to fold down, and I'm going to roll it again. Okay, and then I'm going to fold it down and roll it again. And I'm just going to keep doing that. And then like every 2 or 3 turns, I'm going to add a little dollop of hot glue. And that just gives me the assurance, and I know that this flower is not going to fall apart. And that one, I put a little too much hot glue on, so I got to wipe that off. You don't want the hot glue to show through on the top, so you want to hot glue toward the bottom. Okay, so fold, or roll, and fold. Roll, and fold. Now, as you're getting, we've got about a foot left of your ribbon, you're going to want to start making sure that you're pushing up on the bottom of your petals, because you want your petals to be flat on the top, because you don't want a really tall flower. And if you're wrapping and your petal or your ribbon is going toward the middle or toward the bottom of your flower, your tail here, then your flower is going to be tall and not flat. And I think when we're working with paper crafts, a lot of times we want more of a flat flower and not so much of a tall flower. Okay, so I'm just going to show you what I do here. So I'm going to fold and I'm going to roll, and I'm just keeping my thumb right at the top here so I can keep that ribbon right at the top. Okay, I'm going to put a little dollop of hot glue right toward the bottom. Okay. And then I'm going to roll it, and I'm going to fold it again. Okay. I'm going to roll it and fold it, keeping my petals toward the top. Roll it, fold it down, roll it, fold it down, and then it's time for another hot glue. Okay, so we're going to roll it, fold it, roll it, fold it. And you want to keep kind of turning it up and looking at your flower, making sure that it's round and it's starting to look like a rose. Okay. Roll it, fold it, roll it, fold it. Another thing to make sure is that you're really not rolling in the, or folding in the same spot that you folded on the round before, okay? Because you don't want all of your folds to line up, because then your flower is going to be like a square shape, okay? You want it to be more of a round shape. So you want to make sure that you're not folding in the same spot. Like this one, I'm going to let it go just a little bit further before I fold it down. And I'm going to fold here. I'm going to roll. And you can kind of tell when you need more hot glue, because you'll see that the outside layers are starting to get loose on you. And if you want a looser flower, like this one is a looser flower and I used less hot glue. I probably hot glued every 5 or 6 turns instead of every 2 or 3. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. Rolled and fold. Just keep saying that to yourself and it makes it go just a little bit easier. Roll and fold. And that one, I don't want to fold there. I want to fold here. Roll and fold. Hot glue. Those are your steps. Roll, fold, hot glue. Pretty easy. All right, roll, fold, roll, fold, and I think we're going to do a little hot glue right there. And you can make adjustments to the flower because you've hot glued it. So the worst that's going to happen is that it might unravel to your next hot glue spot. Okay, so it's not like you're losing all of your work. So that's another reason why I like this, to use the hot glue, because then I know if I make a mistake, I don't have to go back all the way to the beginning and start over again. And that's important because, you know, we don't have a lot of time to craft a lot of times. So the time that we do have is important you know, to us. Okay, so now that I've got it where we've only got about 6 or 7 inches left of the ribbon, I'm going to turn the flower around so that I can look at it while I'm folding it, okay, and hot gluing. Roll and fold. And another thing I wanted to tell you, I'm doing it where I'm folding in to myself and when I'm looking at it. You don't have to do it that way. If it's more comfortable for you to fold out, you can fold out too. The end result is basically the same. Just to keep that in mind. I know that on a lot of the Rolled Roses tutorials, they'll tell you to fold out, but you don't have to fold out. At least in my experience, you do not have to fold out. You know, somebody might come along and say, oh no, Julie, you're doing that completely wrong. Well, maybe I am, but it works for me. So, and as long as it works for you, that's all that matters. And this is the time when you're looking at it, you can make adjustments to how big you want it. Because like right now, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a looser roll than I was doing in the middle. I was trying to keep it pretty tight in the middle, but now I'm doing a little bit of a looser roll because I want the outside petals to stand out a little bit more. Okay. And then once you get to the end of your ribbon, I'm going to secure it down with hot glue here. And then I'm going to fold this ribbon back over. And it's going to meet down here with your tail. And what I'm going to do is right under the fold where you folded it down, I'm just going to put a little bit of hot glue there. And that's just going to keep that ribbon there. And we're going to cut that off, this excess off, but that'll keep it secured so it won't fall apart. Okay, so now what I like to do, and I do this on most of my flowers, is I like to take a piece of cardstock and I like to use like a 1-inch punch or a 1.5-inch punch, depending on the size of your flower. Okay, you want to punch that circle out. And now I'm going to trim off the edges here, and I'm just going to cut them right off. Okay, let's see how that's just, I'm just going to stick a little bit of glue here so that lays flat. And then I'm going to take my hot glue and I'm going to put some right there on the center. And I'm going to take my paper circle and I'm just going to push down so that I have a flat surface, so that when I adhere this to my paper or my album or whatever I'm going to be using, card, altered project, whatever, that it'll sit flat for me. Okay, so this is what we have here. This is our ribbon rose. Okay, and we've got different colors. These are all using like a 7/8 inch ribbon, and then this here is using a 1.5 inch ribbon. So you can definitely see the difference in the sizes. So I hope that you guys all go and create some of these ribbon roses for your projects. And if you do, I'd love to see what you create. You know, you can link back, or you can do a video response, or just leave me a comment and say, hey, I did a video on my channel and I'd like you to come check it out, because I'd love to see what you guys are creating. You know, making flowers is definitely a passion of mine, and I know that a lot of other people like it as well. So you know, why not share what we do, right? Okay, everybody, if you have enjoyed this video, please rate it a thumbs up. And if you could, I'd love to have a comment and and subscribe to my channel if you can. All right, everybody, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.